Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started today at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey everybody, welcome to Coach Unplugged. We're so excited you decided to join us. Make sure you go over and leave those 5-star reviews. If you like this, go over and listen to our other podcasts like the 5-Minute Basketball Coaching Podcast or High School Hoops or Funnel Down Defense or Coaching Youth Hoops or whatever one of the 7 in our network that you would like to listen to. But before we jump in, I'd like to give a big shout out to our 2 sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the #1 shooting machine on the market. They are always, what I love about Dr. Dish is they're always innovating. They're always making that a little bit better, and that's why I think they're the best machine out there. Like I've said before, we own 3 of them, and I would not be talking about them every day if I did not believe in them. Mention Coach Unplugged, they'll give you $450 off, and they'll give you A1 customer service. And then also what helps keep the lights on, what helps keep everything moving is teachhoops.com. It's for coaches who want to get better. It is a one-stop shop by a basketball coach for a basketball coach. I'm always working with my team 365 days a year, working on making us better. And I want to do the same thing for you. I'm giving you resources, one-on-one calls, office hours, a roadmap per se that will help you become a better coach. And we offer a 14-day free trial because I believe you should come in and kick the tires around and see if it's right for you. If it's not, that's fine. But I guarantee that you're going to love it. All right, let's head off to the podcast.
Oh no, I'm going to record it in case you want this back at some point. No, it won't be a joke. I love doing this.
All right. How are you? How was your season? I know I contacted you when you were kind of middle of Vegas. And stuff.
It was good. I think we won 12 of our last 14 or something. We were playing really well after Christmas. We had a whole Christmas fiasco where, even though remember when the Southwest flights got all canceled?
Sure.
Well, I was in Midway with my team. So we ended up getting a bus and taking a bus all the way to Florida and back.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we lost all 3 games when we were down there, but it was a good turning point for my team. I think it was, I don't know if I'd do it again, but
that's fair.
Yeah, it was good. So then we played really well after that. And yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah, it was good season.
Okay. Well, I need to pick your brain here for a little bit because, so I'm from Canada, British Columbia, Vancouver.
Okay. That's God's country. That's God's country up there.
Okay. Yeah, it can be. It can be. I think the scene up here for the basketball world's getting better, but it's definitely nowhere near what you guys have down there.
Okay.
Both in infrastructure and talent. So I've been with a high school boys program now for about 6 years. They operate a little bit differently.
It's European like they go play club, or they
very much so. Yeah. So that scene has really kind of started probably about 4 years ago. That's when it really started to amp up. Now kids are playing ball 12 months out of the year. It's very much a club scene. the problem we're encountering as coaches when they come into the school is that the club teams don't really teach. It's all dribble drive, individual. No, there's no fundamental development. So you get a group of 12, 13 kids in the gym, and you're scratching your head being like, well, the debate is, do you adopt what they've learned at club and just adopt that offense and that style of play and incorporate that into your program? Or do you sit there and try and be the guys who fight the machine?
Yeah. Welcome to the US world. So I got lots of answers for this. So how long is your season?
Okay. So it varies. Typically at the senior level, these guys start beginning of December. They'll start getting together in kind of October, September, but season doesn't start until beginning of December. And then it runs, I think they roughly play about 30 games until the end of February.
Ooh, so that's pretty short then. That's pretty short. Okay.
This is not, like I said, it's not what you guys have.
And are they being pulled away during your season, or are they kind of left alone?
No. Club does a pretty good job at kind of sticking to the off season. But we, so the juniors started a month earlier. We kind of, our season starts in November, runs to end of February. And again, it's probably about 30, 40 games all in.
And club doesn't go in the fall.
No, it does not. No.
Okay. So it's like summer. It's like the circuit down here. It's like AAU down here. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's exactly like that. So trust me, from someone that's seen the progression of nothing to kind of to really now, like my guys are off. All my guys are off playing AAU now. They're like all off. Like I see them in the hall and they come say hi, but they're just off doing their thing. Do you have any time in the summer that's set away for you?
That's a great question. It's frowned upon and not really allowed. So the schools have now adopted kind of these the summer, not really. The answer to the question is no, not really. Okay. We allow the kids to come in the morning and take a basketball class that starts kind of end of August, and that runs all year. So typically players on the team or players kind of trying to get into the program will come to the class and attend and start being part of the run. And the coaches that are at the school will kind of run and work on things during the mornings. But no, we don't really.
So June, July, and August, you don't see them.
Nope. That's all club. That's all club.
So you can't like open the gym up. You can't let them come in and work. They're all gone.
Yeah, no, that's
a location thing. It's a
BC basketball thing. Yeah. So they don't because all these are high school sports, they don't allow the teachers for an insurance reason to open up the building, because then there's 3 different unions at the school level. So the principals, vice principals, the teachers, and then the custodians. And each union has different rules about what representative needs to be there.
Okay. And okay. That sounds like I'm like looking in a mirror. Okay. What about you running an AAU team?
We have kind of
can you start your own AAU program and then play for you?
Well, so this kind of gets into the bread and butter of things. We actually have a really good basketball program in Vancouver, and I say good in quotes. Okay. So, our teams have made the provincials probably for the last 10 years running, and the provincials is kind of like your state tournament there.
Right.
And we do the guy who's running the program and the guy coming up behind him, are very involved with a club team as well in BC. That's probably, I think, the first or the second best club team in the province and in Canada for that matter.
Okay.
So they do have a lot of work with the guys that they run at the club level, but again, it's not these guys solely. The club team also has assistant coaches and everything else that are trying to run their own systems.
Right.
So although these guys are part of our high school scene, it's tough to carry on with a club ball because.
And how many different high schools are we dealing with that go feed into this? Is it just you guys, or is it like?
Oh, geez, no. It's. I mean, when it comes to club, you got the Lower Mainland. So what is there? 420 schools in the Lower Mainland that can participate.
Okay.
So this sounds very familiar. So the only difference between you and us is I get my guys in June-ish. Like I can do camps, I can do some workouts. And again, it depends on which state you're in the US. So usually there's some summer contact, which I use more for bonding than anything, to be honest with you. Because it's summer and they're playing AAU. And so going back to your original question, so are these kids getting recruited, or are they just playing for fun? Or
Well, I think all the kids are trying to they're trying to get looks. Like we had our center on our senior team 2 years ago was now at Oregon State. We had a guy the year before that head down to Lehigh, so he's there now. A lot of guys in the Lower Mainland now are starting to kind of leave down south to places. I wouldn't say they're dominant programs, but anytime you get a Canadian kid going down to play, I think it's a victory that they feel very special about.
They feel good. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. All right. So here's my theory with this. Okay. That I get my guys from November to March, end of February, early March. So I get them middle November to the end of February, early March, depending how far we go, late March if we go far. That's when I get my guys. I get to do what I need to do with them. I consider the rest of the year individual skill work on your stuff. Like that's selfish time. And then when we come back together, we're going to be this unit. It's representing our school and blah, 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 blah. Because their AU teams or their travel teams are probably team guys from all over the area on one team. So that's what I sell this is playing with your friends. This is a unique thing in life. When you're 27 years old, you won't be doing this. There's very few times you get to do something with your friends and represent your school, represent it. So that's my sell. And then right now it's like skill work. It's like you become better. Find the right AAU team, work on your skills. I can help you with that. Like here's a workout, here's some weight training, here's nutrition. I mean, I can help you. I just can't coach them per se during the season, but here's the stuff you need. And then when they come, then it's interesting. It's like I always tell people like making a basketball team's like making soup. And everyone does it a little, like I might put more onions and you might put more carrots, but the soup might still taste good at the end. So you have to do, once you get them together, my first 3 weeks are getting them literally on the ship, getting them on the train. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's what we're going to run. Here's the skills I'm going to help you with. So we can win basketball games, because that's the objective, is to win, because the more we win, the more they get looked at. So if dribble dive doesn't work, then that's fine. That what I tell them is you're just adding more to your bucket of skill sets. So great, you played dribble drive there. Maybe we're going to do read and react here. Or we're going to do 5 out here. Or we're going to do some zoom at whatever we're going to do.
Yeah,
that's still going to make you a better player, because now you have more things in your bucket. So I think personally, that's what I think. Here's the question I have for you. Can they defend when they probably not? Can they defend at all?
You know what? Actually, not at the beginning of the season, but I think, here's me and the coach that we're running the junior squads.
Okay.
And this is kind of one of the reasons why I reached out to you. One of the reasons I follow you is not just because you're a statistician, and I'm a huge math nerd as well. But I am fully in the camp where my competitiveness does take over. And I believe that I am probably not as skilled as a coach than many others in the league, but I am sick in competitiveness, and I will spend hours sitting in front of a TV, watching you play, watching your mannerisms, how you coach, what you run, how you run it.
Right, because it's all about patterns, especially at that level. If you figure out the patterns, I'm going to take you out of your patterns.
Absolutely.
Like, and that's what Connecticut did last night. That's what they did last night.
That's right. And one of the things that you mentioned in your podcast when I first initially found you was at this level, it really is about making your opponents as uncomfortable to what they are accustomed at running more so than it is about having 10 guys that are extremely talented at execution.
Yeah,
Now,
it's
that comes
zigging
down-
when you're zagging. It's like I got to do
Right.
something because I don't have. If if I'm Hurley and I got these guys for 12 months, I can make them something. I don't
Right.
have. I have them for 4 months, and the other 8 months they're doing their thing. So I got to figure out. Would I like to play man to man all the time? Sure, but we
Right.
can't
Right.
because we're not good enough at. I mean, we're good, but we're not great. So I got to change up, and I got to do this, and a little bit like Iowa women. Like that's how they
Right.
got to the final. They were
Yeah.
playing a triangle and two. When's the last time you saw a triangle and two? But it's because they couldn't match up. They couldn't match up. So they had
Yeah.
to zig and zag. I mean, they got the best, arguably the best player in the college basketball. But they also have to play 5 people and everyone has to participate. So that's where I have, to be honest with you, that's where I have some issues too with like, I got to teach help side. I got to teach, like how we close all those skill sets. I don't have time to do 45 minutes of small sided games and let them,
No.
I just don't have time if I
Right.
had them all year, man, I would be doing all that stuff. But
Right.
I got to make sure they know how to run the 2 out of bounds plays so we can get the ball in or our press break, or that's what, with all the gurus, it's like they want us to do all. I'd love to do that too, but you and I can empathize in the sense that we don't have time. We got to figure, I mean, I'm going to get pressed next week. And if we don't have a decent press break and I don't spend 20 minutes on it, we're not going to get the ball past half court.
Well, that brings me to why I kind of reached out. So this year, the team that we played, the team that won the provincials 4 times, and we lost each and every time. They played a confusing full court press, man press, that on occasion, and it was sporadic, and I could never pinpoint what or how they would change it up, but they would show full court man. The ball would be inbounded, and it would become one of 3 things. It would either become full court man, it would become a 2-2-1, or it would come as a full court shadow into half court, and then they would play a half court 2-2-1. And so it
wasn't side of the court. It wasn't.
No, we tested it. We tested that a couple of times, and it cost us quite dearly. But the problem we had is we didn't have a true guard, first and foremost. So finding somebody with the hands to either dribble through that first pressure or to skip past it at that level was impossible for us.
Right.
Late in the season, we just decided to go. We decided to basically, part of our game plan was to kind of shove it down their throats. But when that didn't work, we turned to the diamond in one, where we just told 2 of our forwards and the guy who's our guard, you're going to walk this ball up. They're going to have to commit to one side or another. And if they overcommit, pass it to the center or swing it to the other side and run up the court.
Right.
And that seemed to work a little bit. Now, where we got jammed up on that is when they turned it into half court press, because they would let us walk up to half court. And then all of a sudden our center is in the center and there are 7 guys there just jamming up the space. And we could never skip it over.
And you can't skip. You got to give them 3 passing lanes too when you get it over. The issue too is like, well, you probably were initially turning it over because you dribbled too much, is my guess.
Absolutely.
And then you walk it up and you pass it up, which is what I always tell young teams, especially. Don't dribble. Like I literally don't dribble at all.
Right.
And then once you get it over, they make that one pass to the right or left side over half court. Now you got an extra defender because you have the half court.
And I was just like, my question to you is, again, I don't know how you address that. And because we had there had to have been some form of call, whether it was on the court, because it definitely wasn't coming from the coach, which is the most peculiar thing in the world. Like the team that I'm speaking to actually ended up winning the provincials, but nobody could come up with a plan to really run the ball against them. And that was their biggest weakness. Their defense in transition was atrocious. So if you were lucky enough to exploit that, it's just that it wouldn't be a full game. You couldn't do it for a full game.
Right, because they're going to score and then they're going to set up their thing.
Right.
Was it the type of shot they took?
I don't think so, because
that would be so. The ways I've make miss is the obvious one. You've already checked that. the side.
I think anytime we came in from the baseline, it was a different look, regardless of how they scored the ball.
And was there a pattern to that? Did you map that out?
No, we didn't. We didn't map that out. So maybe that was it.
It was
I'll
1, 2,
take a look.
3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I've done that before. Like we're gonna do this possession, next possession we'll do this, next possession we'll do this.
I just find that such a difficult thing to live and breathe on with the kids that age. I mean, it takes one kid losing the rhythm.
It does, but you got, if you rep it enough, make miss, type of shot. I mean, it can't be too complicated.
Right.
Probably not hand calls because they probably couldn't handle that.
Right.
But going back to how you break that half court thing, I think you got to overload a side and you got to move if they pass it just over half court, everyone comes to the ball. And what I tell my guys, and you've heard me say this in my podcast, we want no live ball turnovers.
Right.
I'll take a 5-second call. Like we practice that because my guess is you turn it over, they score.
Right. Absolutely.
That's all. And so what I sell my guys is we just don't want a live ball turnover. If you get it over half court and you don't have it, I tell them football, tuck it, and we'll just get back and play defense. Because half the time they're going to follow you, half the time they're going to double you, half the time they won't call a 5-second, whatever. But I said, you're coming out if you do a live ball turnover. I said, that's it.
Okay.
If you eat the ball, you're not coming out. I'm leaving you in. Okay. We'll go back and play defense. Because then they got it. Because statistically, good offenses score like 0.8, 0.9 against a fixed defense.
Right.
No, that's the hardest thing to score against. Most people score in transition, they score on turnovers, they score things like that. And that's like 1.1, 1.2. So I always tell my guys, I said, we'll just get back and play D. That's fine. We'll just stop that way. We're not giving them 2 points. We're going to make them earn it. So, and then I would just I can draw a couple things up, but I would literally overload the side. If
do you have anything that you could send me? Because like the overload that we were using, it was the way we overload our half court allows kind of their
so send me so draw here's what we'll do, because I got some press breaks, but half court I don't have as much. Send me draw up what you did. Send it to me, and then I'll like, I would do this, and I'll send it back. That's the easiest way to do it. Because that interests me too, because this is more from me trapping other people. I'm more intrigued on the team than you couldn't get the read.
We're actually pretty close with the coach there. When I say close, I mean nobody in the league really is buddy, but we were happy to see the guy take the team there. He had a couple of players there that are going to be really good. They're very talented kids. I'm excited to see them grow up, but I can't tell you. We've talked to so many coaches about how are they addressing this, how are they doing it, how nobody really understood. And Steve, I'm not joking you. If you watch any game that they have online, this is the game. Like this is it. Like they weren't tall. They had no bigs. They had very few players that could shoot from the perimeter. And
do you tape your games?
Not really up here. They have a couple because they're a private school, and so they have the infrastructure to tape a few games here and there. I sent you a link of one of them. I'll see if I can find something else. But it was
so send me that link again. When you send me the thing, send me the link again. I'll send it out to my assistants too, and we'll see if we can come up with this will be a good off-season homework for us. See if we can figure out what's going on.
Okay. I will do so. Yeah, it was just peculiar. And so like we ended up scratching our heads, and we decided like this upcoming year, because we lost a really talented we had a pair of really talented bigs. Our next year we're not going to have that privilege. Right. So we're really debating next year of whether we do the pressure scene and we implement the press and we jump at the screens.
If you're small, you almost have to.
Right, exactly.
You almost have to.
But in order to do that game, right, we also have to be able to implement and break these kind of peculiar presses.
Yeah.
And if we can simplify it to one that can be modified for a different.
Was that your biggest obstacle? Was pressure, getting pressed?
Oh, it was 100%. Yeah, not having an appropriate guard that could handle the dribbling. It was the biggest weakness. Like the scouting report on us was they're very talented. Press them. because they haven't resolved.
So every day for 2 months, that's all you should.
That's all we saw. That's all we saw.
But your practice should be that.
Yeah, it was. It ended up in the new year. It ended up turning into that, and we definitely developed, and we definitely got better. But for we could draw something up that would address a team when they pressed us, because it was fundamental. It was the same thing in and out. It was meat and potatoes.
Right.
Against this team, it was 3 different things that were sporadic. That one thing would never be able to fix all 3.
And that's where you got to try to put them in those situations in practice, where you throw an extra defender out. You can only dribble it once. You give them obstacles so they don't freak out. Because the problem is, I've seen enough of these kind of teams. They freak out. Like, holy
they do.
crap. What are they doing?
Yeah.
Oh, it's panic. If you take the panic out, then that's 95% of it. It really is. It's like, so build in obstacles. That's what your off-season. How can I build practice where there's obstacles and there's games? And then play them as games.
Okay.
Like, okay, you get 4, defense gets 4 stops, they win. Well, whatever. You can be more creative than I can, but build those obstacles and build them in game-like things so they like to do them, and then have a winner or a loser. That's how and then that progression in 2 or 3 weeks, you'll see it will be crazy good.
Okay. I like that idea.
And then I would also, going back to your initial question about development, I would map out the first couple of weeks of practice, what you kind of want to do.
Right.
And then I would start, what are the key components? Because you probably know who's coming back next year.
Yes.
What's our superpower and what's our kryptonite? That's what I'm doing with my team right now. Like,
right.
Okay, I know who's coming. I know we're going to be really good at this, and we are going to be horrible at this. So this is the stuff I got to work on. So the key to coaching is hiding those kryptonite things.
Right.
And accentuating the positives. Like, so if you shoot threes, you want to shoot a lot more threes, and you don't. If you're a horrible transition defense, that's what we just got to pound. Everything is transition defense or whatever it is.
Right.
So that's what I would start thinking about, because then once class starts and practice starts, those are the discussions you're having in, post practice or pre-practice, or, before, maybe you're doing something before. That's what you're talking to the guys about. So that's, that's where the mental part comes in. It's like, maybe we're a horrible 3-point shooting team. Well, we're going to work on it. We're going to get better, blah, blah, blah. So by the end of the season, we're a good 3-point shooting team kind of thing.
Right. Okay. But, yeah, I like that. I really like that. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I do in the off season. Like, I'll spend until June. I was just talking, what was I looking at? We were looking at the Merrimack zone, where it's kind of a different kind of zone. So we're kind of tweaking that. We're looking at our offense and what kind of sets can we do? And can we run, what kind of ball are we going to run ball screen? What are we going to do? And, we'll bounce this back and forth for 2 months, because it's like, well, that might work. That might not work. That might work.
What out of curiosity, what's your preferred full court man press break? Like, what do you like running? I know on your YouTube channel you have one that's very attractive to me. I can't remember. I think it's called sideline.
Yeah, I would run sideline every time, because if you notice in the NCAA, both women's and men's, Caitlin for Iowa, she's throwing the ball in. You want your best player throwing the ball in. Because they're virtually impossible to guard if they can get the ball in.
Okay.
Because of the type of cuts. So if it's a man press, you can't man press. Sideline. You'll get the ball to your best ball handler or sideline every time, and they can't do anything.
Okay.
It's more of the zone stuff. So I always like again, your best ball handler throwing it in, because then they're going to be able to cut. They're going to be able to cut and be able to get it in that specific angle. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And what about against just like a 2-2-1?
2-2-1. Yeah. So I always go opposites.
Okay,
and then we work on, so the first week of practice when we're getting pressed, we work on no dribbling. I don't let them dribble till half court. There's no dribbling, because what it's going to force them to do is cuts. Because the first thing they want to do out of the womb is dribble the ball.
Right.
So I got to break that habit. And it's like, when they're pressuring us, we're not going to. So those diagonal cuts, because the kids don't want to get beat deep, and the diagonal cuts are the key. Right. So I did a video maybe even 10 years ago on press breaks, and it's in Teachhoops. But if you go watch it, I talk about those diagonal cuts. And then we talk about, this is the former geometry teacher. that whenever you get the ball, there should always be 3 passing lanes.
Right.
Right. And it's across, middle, side. So guys should be cutting to that. And it will be horrible for a week. But when they can't dribble and you teach the cutting, that's the key. Because I mean, any press can be broken if you cut. Now, the whole half court thing is a whole different issue. Right. You don't have this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think this year we definitely we're picking up the distribution of talent. It pushes the bell curve much wider, but the deviation from center is a little tighter. Okay. But we definitely
you and I are the only 2 people that know what that meant. But go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, but I think our issues are going to come more from penetration, which concerns me. Right. So I think we do have to kind of turn into end-to-end running team. But if we encounter some press, we really have to
defending. You mean defending the ball? You defending them?
Yes.
Yeah. That's where you got your 2 things. Guard the yard. That's what I tell my guys. Guard the yard. You got to guard a yard in each direction. Guard the yard, guard the yard, guard the yard. They get beat. You should not get beat. Now, when it does happen, you got to know your friend's going to be there to help you.
Okay.
But you got to guard the yard. They can't get around you. So that was one of our problems early this last season is we were just getting beat off the dribble. And it's like,
okay.
Because the game has changed where you've got to close out on those 3-pointers.
Yes.
So all of a sudden you close out and then that gives gaps and space, but that's where your friends got to help you basically.
Right.
To get into that space. So that's what we talk about, guarding the yard all the time. And then that's where it's an individual game. Like that's the difference between a D in the US, the difference between a D3, D2 and D1 player is, can you guard the guy you're defending?
Right. Okay.
That's the difference. There are D3 players that if they could guard the ball, they'd be playing D1, but they can't guard the ball. I got to stop you.
Right.
Like I got to keep you in front of me.
Okay.
And if you can't, then that's a big differentiator, I think, for players, because a lot of kids can score, a lot of kids can shoot. You got to be able to defend the ball. Watch all the NCAAs. It's like there's no one out there that can't defend the ball.
Right. That's fair. Yeah.
If you're 6'11", it's different. You're not you're defending the ball in the post. You're not defending the ball up top. But
right.
So that's got to be true. That is one place I drill the crud out of it too.
Okay.
I really do, because it's like 2-on-2, 3-on. That's where small side games is great, because it's like 2-on-2, 3-on-3. You got to keep them in front. We play, and then that's where I put the obstacles in front. Like you get 2 dribbles each time you get it. You only play this half of the court. We're going to play in this box.
Right.
And that works, because that teaches, they like it because they're playing games, but it also teaches them how to contain.
Right.
You got to contain. You really do.
Steve, you've been a huge help. I appreciate you. Give me some tidbits here that's going to get me back into get back to the drawing board a little bit. I might reach out to you a little bit later on in the year.
Yeah, anytime.
I really appreciate this. This is unreal.
Okay, so here's your homework. You're gonna send me
the half court.
You're gonna send me the half court thing drawn up.
Yeah.
Then I'll send it back and we'll play with it a little bit. And then if you can find that team again or send that link again so I can look at it.
Yeah, I will. I'll do that.
I'll send it off to my coaches. They're smarter than me sometimes, and see if they can figure it out.
Okay, any insight would be extremely helpful. I appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk soon.
All right, thanks again. Have a good night.
Bye. Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Make sure you subscribe, jump up and down, like I say. Tell your friends. That would be a good thing. Yeah, share this on social media. And then also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Have a great day.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Memorial Day doorbuster deals are here at Lowe's. Right now, Rewards members save $80 on the Master Forge 4-burner gas grill, now just $149. Plus, Rewards members save $900 on the Lowe's exclusive Hisense French door refrigerator, now only $999. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/26. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at Lowe's.com/terms. Subject to change.